Go for it.
Aloha, snack bar, everyone. It's the one, the only V, the Gorilla Economist, coming to you live. The Senor Silverback, the Monkey of Mayhem, with none other than the denizen of the deep, the uncanny one, the producer extraordinaire, the partner, the one half of this dynamic duo, CJ. And we're together on another Mornings with V and CJ. CJ, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing, V?
I'm doing fantastic, dude. There's a lot of crap going on. My God, where do we begin?
Yesterday was amazing to watch The Hill and the amount of disinformation. Disinformation coming out about what happened, who knew what, when. Of course, you have the political establishment that are completely going over the top, calling for hearings, calling for impeachment. They're going nuts, V.
Hearings, impeachment. Did you hear, speaking of idiots in the Hill, did you hear the prank call that a bunch of pranksters did to Maxine Waters?
Boy, I tell you what, if there's any person that really needs to take an IQ test before serving office, it's her. That was hilarious. What was that name of that fake
Pompo. La Pompo. The guys were like, did you hear that Putin invaded the land called La Pompo? He interfered in their elections. And she's like, oh, we need to do something about that. Was it a Russian hack? How did they do it?
You tweeted that out yesterday, correct?
Yeah, man, I really did. It just shows you the level of stupidity of these people. It's, and these are the people that are calling the shot. These are the people that are just morons, man. Just complete morons. I don't know where to begin. Anyway, let's talk about the truth of Flynn, baby.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to understand that there was a concentrated effort around ousting Flynn. If there was anyone that was more angry at him, it was definitely probably, Obama, Clinton. Clinton took it upon herself to put a tweet out in regards to, and surprisingly she did it because it had some reference in there to Pizzagate. But if we remember back to when that whole thing back around November timeframe, he's the one actually sent a tweet out just saying, hey, this is something that needs to be looked at.
Yeah, absolutely. And his son said the same thing. And, there's two things here. Number one, it's all about the Pizzagate. There's definitely some things there. But number two, it's about Odumbo's legacy. Flynn was about to blow the doors off the fact that the Iranian deal was not a deal. It was so one-sided. It was a joke. It was an absolute joke. And Flynn was about to blow the doors off that. I mean, look, there is a reason why the deep state, with guys like Brennan, with guys like Odumbo, that they begin to attack, especially Brennan, attacking his new boss, which is Michael Flynn, because these guys are terrified. Look, there's nothing. And I challenge the FBI to go ahead and try to have criminal prosecution brought against Michael Flynn. I dare you to do that. I double dog dare you to do that. And the reason why I dare you to do that, it will show the nation. First of all, you're not going to find nothing because you've already read the transcripts. You already found out there's no violation of the Logan Act. You already found out that there's nothing there. The second thing is that if you do try to bring prosecution upon Michael Flynn, what you're going to do is you're going to show the nation how duplicitous you are. You're going to show the nation how absolutely one-sided you are. And the people already know, CJ, they already know this, that where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay? When they see this one-sided attack where Hillary Clinton gets a pass and Michael Flynn is going to get prosecuted, are you freaking kidding me? I dare any one of you to do that. Watch what happens. Watch how the American people react, and you will further the only person that the left is trying to delegitimize here is not Donald Trump. What they're winding up doing, I mean, they want to delegitimize him, but what the only people that are being delegitimized here, CJ, is the left itself, is the entire left-wing party. They're the ones getting delegitimized.
Absolutely.
Unreal, man. They've gone full retard, bro. Full retard mode.
They have to, you have to remember too that, Flynn was a lifetime Democrat as well. So if they're sitting there questioning everything in regards to Flynn, why weren't they questioning anything back when he was serving under Obama for that whole time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Under those that time period. And then if you take a look, V, at the actual information that came out, and what they should be more focused on is asking themselves and others, why is this information being leaked? That intel, those wires, those conversations are supposed to be kept among top secret
Right.
classifications. So how is this information being leaked out?
Exactly. Absolutely correct, man. And no one's asking that, because you know what? There's a lot of things that people are not looking at. There is an all-out war, man. I mean, there's no. I said it yesterday when James was on. I'll say it again today. There is an absolute all-out war. If people want to get involved in politics, if people want to teach these lefties what to do, okay, or teach these lefties their lot in life at this point, now's the time to get involved. Now's the time to do it. With that being said, my man, I mean, we have what's this? The Obama administration signs off on wider data sharing. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so kind of interesting enough leading up to this entire time period. And yesterday they kind of mapped out the timeline in regards to when Trump was first notified in regards to, hey, look, Flynn could be, compromised. But leading up to that, Obama did something in his last few days, where he completely allowed a wider data sharing among the NSA to various FBI, different organizations in regards to them actually gaining intel from U.S. citizens, and obviously enough, that's supposed to be kept, confidential, under top secret. You have to, get a subpoena in order to, request that information from the NSA. So his actions pretty much, allowed for potentially that information to come out. And was this done on purpose, potentially to protect those? Because that they're going to investigate how this information was leaked out, right? So was his actions and his timeline around this, it's just very suspicious that he signed this executive order allowing this, and then boom, here's where we are today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely right. It's not. This is a nice little Obama administration alley-oop for disaster. This was a straight up alley-oop, man. And I'll tell you why. Just like that whole, Yemen Navy SEAL mission, which was an absolute disaster, that was an alley-oop. Okay. And same thing with this. This is an alley-oop. They knew the trap that they were laying here, CJ. No doubt about it.
Yeah, they definitely did. And it's very disheartening, just in terms of that they're putting politics ahead of the American people. Maybe if they would ask themselves, if maybe they didn't delay so many of the confirmations. You remember when they had that, they wouldn't show up for any of the confirmations hearing and kept kicking the can down the road. Perhaps maybe if they could have got some of these things in place, that they could have possibly have set the administration up for a little bit of success, instead of throwing up all these obstacles and all these roadblocks. What happened to the promise that Obama made in the Oval Office that day, that they're going to yield and respect the tradition of American heritage, the transfer of powers peacefully? That was a joke, V.
Exactly. Absolutely 1000% correct, man. 1000% correct. And speaking of that, we got Bibi coming into town, bro.
Yeah, this is absolutely huge. Yeah, absolutely huge. So this will be their first, face-to-face meeting in regards to Israel, in regards to the Palestinian conflict, regarding, two separate states. And so this is going to be the meeting of minds, and what could be, it's kind of labeled the flashpoint of the administration moving forward. Granted that Trump has a lot now of other side distractions, so hopefully, Mike Pence can step in and do some damage control as far as, what's happening as far as the administration. But this has got to be a very important meeting to establish the future of policy as it relates to the U.S. and Israel. We all know that Trump had a very troubling relationship with Netanyahu, the UN order where the United States decided not to vote. So this is huge.
Oh, that was with the Obama administration, man. Obama administration absolutely snubbed Israel. This is what kills me, man. They snubbed Israel, all the while enervating the Muslim nations and dictatorships and tin pots that are out there. He's done all that, and it's absolutely beyond me. But when you look at it from a vantage point, it does make sense why he did what he did, because he's an absolute crazy sycophant. Now, this whole thing that people are fighting over, CJ, with this whole two-state solution, this, that, and the other. I remember back in 2005, 2005, 2006. I was in the Gulf states at that time, and I remember speaking with at that time I was working with my one of my business partners who is Israeli, and I remember dealing, and it was at that time where I think it was the leader of Hezbollah, one of the heads of Hezbollah came out, and he said this that was so profound. He said, "You know, we tell you Westerners that it's all about land, 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 land. It's not. We say it's land to you because that's what you Westerners understand. Make no mistake, this is not about land. This is about religion." And that is a point. I never forget what he stated. So, look, we could all, disagree. Look, Israel's not perfect. It is far from perfect, just like any other nation in the world. Okay, and we know about the whole, the Rothschild involvement. The whole, bombing of the David Ben Gurion Hotel. The look, here's the deal. The original founders of Zionist movement, they were atheists. So how can atheists who are talking about a divine right of return, how can anybody talk about divine right of return and be atheist? It's just beyond me. Look, it is absolutely, in its initial stages, was coddled as a Rothschild colonization project. Failed, backfired in that sense. But here we are, fast forward to today. We have, at the end of the day, look, let's just dissect the history. Let's put that all aside. Let's take some of these, the spirituality, this whole biblical stuff. Let's put that aside. Let's deal with the fact. The fact is this: we have a Western nation. Okay, that's Israel. They still value life. They still value sanctity. They still, value these things. Okay. Case in point, there's a lot of people that Israel this, Israel that. But at the end of the day is this: I would rather be in Tel Aviv. I'd rather live in Tel Aviv than go live in pretty much any Muslim country in the world. Period. Period. I'd rather be in Israel than in any other Islamic country in the world. Period. And I got relatives in Abu Dhabi and I have relatives in Dubai. That included. Okay? So, because it's still a Western-style democracy at the end of the day. Not perfect. Makes tons of mistakes. But in terms of like where you can be in terms of personal freedoms. Okay, so that being said, this two-state solution, do you honestly think that's going to stop at a two-state solution? I mean, seriously. The Palestinians, I mean, honestly, see, let's be honest here, bro. If the Palestinians took the path of, let's say, a Gandhi or Martin Luther King, don't you think they would have had their state a long time ago? There'd be no problems, right? Right, CJ?
Yeah, for so long, they have aligned themselves, with the PLO, and the way they tried to accomplish it was there was no negotiating.
Right.
It was either their way or no way.
Right. Absolutely correct, man. And the best thing that could happen is for the future generations. And it's difficult because what's happening is with every response on one side equals a more harsher response on the other side and vice versa. To the point where, my fear is you're going to have future generations that hate each other. And it's up to Generation Z that's coming out, that's in Israel, that's in Palestine. It's up to you guys to help fix this mess. This is old political colonial BS. It needs to be buried. You guys are the same freaking people, for the love of God. At the end of the day, we're all humans. We all bleed red. At the end of the day, you guys could integrate. At the end of the day, you guys can be a nation that has incredible access and opportunity. I mean, look, here's the thing. Before this whole, most people don't even know this again because they're very ignorant of the Middle East, CJ. Before the whole PLO, before Yasser Arafat, you realize the Palestinian-held territories at one point was the 8th largest economy in the world? Right before they decided to get into bed with Arafat, the PLO, and start doing terror attacks. Wow. 8th largest economy in the world.
Wow.
I mean, think about it. If Israel is so hateful of the Palestinians and they want to just wipe them out from the face of the planet, why would they allow them to be the 8th largest economy in the world? They were a prosperous economy. Everything was going hunky-dory. There was so much. The biggest trading partner for the Palestinian territories was Israel. You know, it's crazy. The situation is over there. It's a mess now, CJ. It's a globalist mess, and this is what happens when you have crazy globalists, intelligence operations, the deep state, and nut job Islamic terrorism running rampant. This is what happens, and then Zionists on top of that. It
Yeah,
creates
just
a cluster F, a giant cluster F, CJ.
no, you said it very well, V, and it falls back to the past several years of U.S. intervention in the Middle East, and so here's Israel looking at it from a standpoint that, okay, do I fall in line at some point? Because if I don't, I know that the funding and everything else is going to discontinue. Who else could they align themselves with other than the United States and participating in some of those activities that we know that they were doing in regards to Syria and everything else? So they are a Christian nation and they're one of our allies in the Middle East. Are they doing some great things? Yeah, I think in terms of medicine and some of their advancement that they're doing there, they are doing some great things, V. But in part, the two-state solution in itself, they're going to have to come together and effectively negotiate something. And for us to utilize the UN to accomplish that,
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense at all.
right. Absolutely right, bro. Absolutely, 100% right. It's crazy nonetheless, man. So what's the next thing on the radar, brother?
Well, it looks like some Japanese banks are going to be again investing with Bitcoin in Bitcoin. So again, that's something new that Bitcoin is again just making waves across everywhere and every platform they're looking at. This is reported from CoinDesk that it looks like a group of financial investors there are looking at starting another, and something we've talked about notably here on our show quite a bit is the actual exchanges and being wary of some exchanges that are out there, and learning from China's example. But yeah, this is something new. It comes out again from CoinDesk, and it looks like the giant, is it Mizuho investment in Japan's biggest.
Mizuho. That's one of the big
Mizuho.
ones. That's like Japan's Goldman Sachs right there.
So in what could be the biggest Bitcoin exchange.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be big, man. It's look, the Japanese governments have already recognized Bitcoin as legal tender. They've already recognized it. So the next step is this, CJ. The next step is more people using it. Look, Asians are much more. If you look at the Bitcoin market, the Asian countries, man. They are jumping all over Bitcoin. They're more tech savvy than us. I mean, look, people don't realize this. This whole Apple Pay thing, right? Like, look today, I had to give like 6 vials of blood, so I'm like drained. I don't know what they're going to use the blood for. Probably a research project to clone half human, half ape hybrids. That's what I'm thinking. But so I'm on the way back. I grabbed Dunkin' Donuts, which I don't do. Now I hear Dunkin' Donuts, for the sake of brevity of time, I hear Dunkin' Donuts has a dark roast. So I'm drinking Dunkin' Donuts dark roast while I'm doing this show, and quite honestly, it's delicious.
Their coffee is good. Their coffee is good, V.
Yeah, I'm surprised this dark roast is actually very tasty. And I paid it with my Apple Pay. So boom, pop my iPhone on the thing, paid them out the door. No worries, right? No muss, no fuss. But that technology has been around since the 90s in Japan. You go to any vending machine, you're paying it through your cell phone. They've had NFC going back way back then. We're just getting onto it. Do you see what I'm saying? So when Japan, it's the Asian culture so much more tech savvy than us. I remember like traveling to Southeast Asia, visit some of my cousins and some relatives here and there, and these guys are watching this is like in the early 2000s, man. Okay, early 2000s, maybe like 2007. The iPhone just came out. I had like cousins of mine that were like watching the World Cup on their 4-inch screen at that time, which was huge. I mean, you had a 4-inch screen.
Right.
We're like, oh my god, what is this? A 4-inch screen LG phone. Watching it live on the internet on their smartphone. And I'm like, what the hell? We don't have anything like that here. At that time, the iPhone couldn't even run Flash. I'm like, what in the world? So they are much more tech savvy than we are. And these people are all about, Bitcoin and jumping into Bitcoin and utilizing, fintech and all that other good stuff, man. It's awesome, bro.
Yeah, it's great stuff. It really is. It's very exciting, the future of Bitcoin and the direction that it's going. V.
Absolutely, bro. And we got, Ken Shorter wrote an awesome article on roguemoney.net. The central bankers are losing control, huh, CJ?
Yeah, I think this is what it all falls back to. B. I think that this is the political establishment in DC. This is their biggest fear, right? That that they know that the administration is going to be looking at a lot of things, and in regards to the Fed and their unchecked money printing the last several years, it has pretty much put our economy and our debt where it is today.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. It's a serious issue. If you guys are going to read the article, go to roguemoney.net. Ken has a great article out. And he also got a little interview out with Danielle DiMartino Booth, which we will be interviewing her soon as well. And with that as well, CJ, like, what's going on with the Sandusky arrest, man? Is that big? It looks like it's starting to be a big thing there, huh?
I didn't quite understand the arrest and the implications of it until I started digging a little bit deeper. And the Russia Insider has a great article that put out in regards to the late, not the late, he's still alive, Sandusky's adopted son. Yeah. And when you start digging a little bit more into it, you come to find out that the Sandusky family had a high level charity, if you will, and it was directly tied to the Clintons.
Ah,
and, yeah, bingo, yes.
God.
Oh, so in regards to this charity that the Sandusky had, they actually served close to 400,000 low-income children across the state of Pennsylvania.
400,000.
Yep. Yes. And it's being alleged, and you remember we discussed this in regards to that judge was actually protecting Sandusky at the time, and people kept wondering why was this a concentrated effort of his adopted son, that they were actually using the charity as a cover, and in fact peddling these kids out to pedophiles.
Oh, 1,000%. And this is Sandusky's adopted son?
That is correct.
Okay, so he's probably been molested himself. Most probably.
Well, exactly. That's basically where what it's stating is that again, this charity, it's ties to the Clintons.
Yeah.
And so whenever they state that Pizzagate is very much back on, should just say PG instead, so that way we don't hit the filters.
Yeah. Let's talk about PG.
Yeah, PG. PG, and again the implications that are coming forth. So again, it's starting to come, it's going full circle here. So now we are seeing some people that are actually being arrested, the direction that it's going, and then also being in regards to Ben Swan. I wanted to give a quick update. He ran that article. He actually came up and asked why PG wasn't being discussed. And shortly after that, he was kind of taken off the air for a little bit. He was taken off the air. Some of his social media posts, some of his sites, he was saying that this site's going to be coming down. He was supposed to be airing he actually put out a fundraiser to help fund it, and he was going to do this huge study, this information in regards to almost like a documentary of ISIS, and talk about how ISIS came together and everything. And it's been scratched since then. He told his supporters that, listen, I'm going to go ahead and issue a refund for it. But it's just kind of interesting, the timing of it, how he was the one that brought PG back to life, if you will, and now we're seeing some of the arrest and everything that's coming out. And then Hillary tweets out regarding Comet. It was interesting to see her tweet. But yeah, I think that there's going to be more things happening in regards.
What goes around, Comet's around.
Exactly. So there's going to be more things happening. And again, I think that they may have very well, as James, the Russian analyst, told us yesterday, with if they think that Flynn is done here, he's not. You're probably going to see him, behind the scenes, do some more activities to bring some of this out. And he's in the military. He's not. This is someone that you do not necessarily just think that you're going to mess with and they're going to go away.
No, 1,000%. He's a badass. Michael Flynn's a badass. You think he's going to go quietly into the night? No. Look, here's the deal. The Satanists, the leftists, the nut jobs, the pedos, they might be celebrating and circle jerking each other with some PG sauce. You know, they might have some pizza sauce and they're circle jerking each other with it, bathing themselves in it while they're smacking each other in the face and giving each other high fives. But let me tell you guys something. It's coming. It's out. The genie's out the bottle, and it's only a matter of time, CJ, before this whole thing unravels. Look, Sessions is doing his thing. Give it time. There's a lot of people that are already saying, I mean, I've read articles already. Oh, that's it. Trump administration's over. Michael Flynn is out. It's the end of it. And like, James, the Russian analyst buddy, the Saker, which I love the Saker. I think he's a phenomenal researcher, great writer. I want to interview the guy. I want the guy on the show. He's awesome. But I disagree with his latest article as well. It's not over. Just because you have Flynn out doesn't mean it's the end of the world, number one. Number two, there are so many things, counteroffensives that are occurring right now. And here's the deal, guys. I'm putting together a research report, and that it will be up. Because what happens is something is so freaking deep. The more I'm writing, the more links I'm seeing, the more intel that I'm seeing that's coming out. And I'm getting some very key pieces of intelligence that I'm putting together. And I'm looking at this whole entire thing, guys. I'm saying to myself, my God, there's not a place where you can turn the spade and you see a Clinton, you see a Soros, you see some very key public figures that are involved in all sorts of deviant malarkey. That's what's going to come out. The left has they think to themselves right now. I'm not even talking about the left. I'm talking about these extreme lefto nonsense, the globalists, the sycophants, the deep state, the cabal. These guys think they have momentum, CJ, and they are building on a massive momentum. They think they're winning. They've been blinded by their pride. They will fall. It is time for the American people. Do not be disheartened by the fact of Michael Flynn. The war is not over. He just sacrificed his position. It does not mean that he sacrificed his intelligence, his ability to contribute to the fight. Just because you sideline a quarterback doesn't mean he can't still call the plays. He can't comment on what he's seeing on the field just because he's sidelined. And that's what people need to. This is a psychological war. You have to understand the media and some people in the alt media who just don't get the big picture are already writing things off as a defeat, as a setback. There is no setback. Truth will march on. Globalization is dead. The New World Order is over, and the wall will be built, CJ. That's Absolutely. What I got to say.
No, that's great. I completely agree. There is a war going on right now, V. And
1,000%.
There's a war going on right now, and there's going to be a lot of bad information that's going to be coming out. They're going to be using the media. They're going to be using these MoveOn.org, these movements that are going to try to disrupt town halls. They're trying to disrupt meetings, everything that they can right now to create enough havoc to try to wreck this administration. It's just flat out, just they're almost labeling them enemies of the state would be appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely right, man. And who do you think this leaker is? Who do you think this a-hole leaker is that's in the White House, bro?
Well, there's a lot of signs point to it, V, that no other than the former Republican, former
Republican twat.
Yeah. So there's a lot of information going on right now that some of the things that he's doing and some of his actions that he's taken are, calling him into question in regards to, his previous the one that's leaking the information. We find out that he was the one that potentially may have undermined some of Trump's efforts. This is starting to be discovered right now. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens with him in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think it's Priebus is definitely part of it. I think there's some other leftover Clintonistas lurking in the apparatus mechanisms that are in the White House and in government that are also part of it. The neocon, neoliberal base that's a part of it. And I'm telling you right now, what did we say that he's bringing Priebus in? Because he's going to probably fire him in about a month or two. Right?
Right. Exactly.
Here you go. Here you go. He's going to make that makes Bannon the de facto chief of staff. Full power. Full power.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What a hell of a time to be alive, CJ.
It is. It's just amazing.
God, man.
Just it's truly amazing to think of the time that we're living, everything that's occurring. Be just truly amazing.
Oh man, it's unreal, bro. It's unreal. It's unreal. And Donald Trump just tweeted out, thank you to Eli Lake of Bloomberg View. The NSA and the FBI should not interfere in our politics, and it's a very serious situation for the USA. This is exactly what James, the Russian analyst, was speaking about yesterday morning. With that being said, CJ, we're at the end of the program, my man.
Absolutely. That was quick, but lots of information. But again, it's a very exciting time to be alive. Make sure you stay tuned. Check out roguemoney.net. Our contributors are working very hard overtime to go through and try to filter out to bring you the most accurate information up to date. And then more importantly, share that. Share this channel. Share roguemoney.net with your family and friends.
Yep, absolutely. And with that being said, guys, again, subscribe to us for your love and support for us, and also you can support also our sponsor. If you have any debt, you're feeling the pressures of collections agencies, this, that, and the other, contact my guys at myfreedomnow.us, myfreedomnow.us. These are the debt elimination experts. Book a call with them, and you might even have me call you. With that being said, CJ, we're over and out. And hump day later today, so stay tuned. Take it away, CJ.